Hello, everyone. Tonight we've got a special Everest preview, which I'm very, very excited about coming up. And we've got obviously the Everest coming up on Saturday. And I'm here with Mark from Ready Bet and Jack, obviously from Baggy Bet. Okay, boys, very exciting day.
Mark, will the track handle it? Will the track? It's been under siege, hasn't it? This Randwick deck.
Yeah, it was horrific last week. Just awful weather. Rail was out 7 or 8 metres, so it just played horribly on pace. Look, that won't be happening. Expect the track to improve a bit. There might be some rain on Friday, but if they're lucky, it could just keep improving gradually during the week, and we might end up in something like a 7, which would be nice. Rail back in the true, though, that means it won't be up the inside like it was last week. The runners on will definitely get their chance this time, which makes for better racing.
You're predicting an even to fair pattern.
Yeah, I think it might even be a touch hard to lead. A touch hard to lead, but not impossible. But certainly, things 3, 4, 5 lengths off the lead will get their chance, unlike last week.
Okay. Speed, Matt?
Yeah, well, it depends how aggressive they want to be on Nature Strip, doesn't it? I mean, Eduardo is very quick out of the gates, but Nature Strip, have a look at the TJ in the autumn. He drew the outside barrier and he just took absolute control of the race from about 200 metres after the start and straight to the front. You could say Eduardo handed up, but they were humming along there. Nature Strip was just too fast. If he's in that sort of mood and he's in his rhythm, I think they'll just lead on him, or at the very least sit outside Eduardo. Then you're back to the likes of the other quick horses who probably don't have the class of these two, like Shades of Rose. I suspect they've got to try and mix it with them, stay as close as they can for as long as they can and hang on. Joyful Fortune led at Flemington. This is a different setup. He'll just take a trail somewhere.
When you say different setup, you mean this is like an elite race with good horses in it, and that was a benchmark 70 at Flemington on a heavy 10. Yeah,
see that Varvia that ran third at Flemington got beat at Warwick Farm today in a 72 or something. So it is
which was backed from $6 to $9 in to roll Joyful Fortune that day too.
Didn't quite get within 4 lengths of it, but I think our point that it's a stronger race than that is well made. Next on my map, I had Overpass in the middle somewhere. Look, Marzu's a bit cast from barrier 11, probably ends up 3 wide. Then you're back to the ones that'll be midfield and worse. Giga Kick lost and running. Private Eye poking up the inside somewhere, ingratiating. Mars Crusader always gets back, as does Jacquinot. Look, I've actually mapped Jacquinot last, but if he jumps all right from gate 2, he might be a bit closer. I might not have that 100% correct, but he does tend, as we know, to get a hell of a long way back. So that's how I see it playing out, but of course it all revolves around Nature Strip.
Beautiful. We've got, so we'll have a look at these runner by runner, and we're going to start with Nature Strip, obviously. Now, Jack, Jack, yes, I believe you're taking on Nature Strip.
Yeah, we're 210 Nature Strip for the moment to see what comes of it. It can be a flood, as I found out last week with I Wish I Win. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just slightly above everyone else at the moment. Here's why, Mark. Like, I want to take on the favourite when I can. Yeah. He's had 9 starts, second up for 2 wins. The average SP of Eduardo versus him, to my skimming, I didn't put it in an Excel spreadsheet, but it's got to be about $5, $4. And you're getting almost double figures, or you were last night.
Yeah. Look, I take your point. He's a different sort of second up here, though. He's been to England. He's come back. He's virtually had only a little let up, not a 3-month spell or anything. He looks sensational. He had a soft first up 1,000-metre win, to be honest. They didn't go as hard as everyone thought they would, and he just had a glorified track gallop and won pretty easily. He's peaked in his grand finals, I think, 4 preps in a row now. He's won 3 TJs and an Everest.
But he had the extra grand finals, my sort of hope.
You could be right. I reckon I hope you're going to be right, because we're not going to be winning on it if it wins. I just don't think.
Won't be losing as much.
Yeah, I won't be losing as much, because I don't think this is a horse you have to chase. The public know who it is. They'll be wanting to back it, and I'll just let the money come to us, I think, rather than sticking your neck out. That's my view on it. But
okay.
Look, they can all get beat, but even money feels about right to me.
What price do you think he starts?
Barring some unforeseen track pattern, I don't think he drifts I don't think he moves too much. He might. I could see him tightening a little, maybe. I just don't know where they go around him to back something off the map, unless they're coming down the outside fence and they start tuning into things like Masked Crusader. But I think it's around, the 190 to 210 sort of range. I think.
Cool. Move on to Eduardo. The two obviously coming off that fourth behind Nature Strip in the shorts last start. Where have you sort of got him here?
Mark, you want to kick off?
Yeah, I'm just middle of market him too. I think we're 850, aren't we? Yeah.
850. We're both 850, so we're sort of both fence sitting.
I am fence sitting. It's there's a lot of he's beaten Nature Strip quite a few times, generally at 1,000 though. But he has fallen short in these 1,200 metre grand final races, the TJ and Everest, a couple of times. He's at his best when he can dominate a race, and it's very hard to dominate a race when Nature Strip on grand final day is there. Wouldn't die a shock if he won because he's a very, very classy horse, despite being pretty old now. But he's still a very, very classy sprinter. If Nature Strip has an off day, he may be next in line.
Most of the horses in this race are very old, the fast ones. I think it's a positive jockey change, just only because it suits the horse a lot. It's proven to suit the horse, and you can argue the SP profile. But I think a lot of these veterans are coming out of tricky preparations where they've been on these heavy decks, and I just don't know how to handle that. So I'm just sort of fence sitting with him for sure. But I certainly wouldn't want to take him on.
No, at that price is no problem.
Yeah.
We'll move on to number 3, which is Lost and Running. Now, he's coming off a really strong third behind Nature Strip in the shorts, and then came out to win the Premier Stakes last start. Mark, you're taking him on?
I am a little bit, yeah. I think, he's second favourite in this market. And he did win the Premier last start, the lead up, but there were 4 of them across the track there. Look, he started very short, and I think that's why he's the shortest of the horses that ran in that race, but there was only about a neck between 4 of them. I actually thought Masked Crusader was probably a better run coming up the inside, which I don't think was ideal that day. I think he's been priced off his last start SP, and he's too close to Nature Strip and too far apart from the other things that came through the same lead up. So, yeah, we're happy to be at least joint top odds in. I think we're 750 at the moment. So, look, he's a good horse. I could certainly see him running a place, a top 4. For me, would need to go to a new level to win this, and I think others are more likely to.
I think he's a hope to improve. I agree with everything Mark said, but he's a hope to improve because he's always they've known this is where they're ending up.
Yeah.
And he just sort of did what he had to do last start.
That's quite possibly right. Yeah.
But the narrative is fascinating because it's like this is the new horse on the scene. He's fucking 6 years old.
Yeah. He did have a bit of a late start, but
like recruiting Chris Judd to Carlton and thinking you're going to turn around. He's not young, this horse. So I want to keep him safe because I think he's going to improve. But I certainly wouldn't want to back him, but I don't really want to lay him at the same time.
Beautiful. And then the 4, Masked Crusader. Having a look back to last year, third up, he actually won the Premier Stakes, which I think puts him in. He's third up on Saturday, which puts him in good stead for this, and especially after last run. Jack, you're taking on Masked Crusader?
Yeah, I just want to take on the good horses that get back. Surprised a little bit that Mark thinks the track will almost favour those sort of horses or be fair. If that's the case by race 7, I'd probably adjust our position on this horse to be a little bit more neutral. I think he's a phenomenal horse, but he's just always in the elite races with a handicapped racing style, and I'm just going to put him in because of that. But if they are getting back and running on, which I have a lot of respect for Mark, and it scared me, but I just thought there was no way because they raced on the 8 metre last week on that bog. Like Jacquinot and this thing, they're both going to be, in my mind, weaving passages, and one of them is going to get all the breaks, but they're still going to need one of the proper horses to stop. So I'm happy to take him on, Mark.
He's never really been on a mind because of his awful racing pattern.
He is this year, though, isn't he? I can tell.
Yeah, he sort of is, because I thought that was probably the run of the race in the lead up, coming up the inside, not best ground for mine. Look, he was run to suit, but I thought he was nearly the run of the race. He peaked. He was so good in this race last year behind Nature Strip. He almost got him. You might remember we were on Nature's
Yeah.
Strip live stream and looked like going to win by 2 lengths at the 150, but Mars Crusader was gone within about 2 bounds of catching him.
Was Mars Crusader last year first up Caulfield? I reckon I fell in love with him last prep.
Hang on, I've got it here.
He was racing a bit more down south last year, I believe.
Sort of broke my heart, so I've sacked him.
Yeah, well, the get back horses will do that, as you well know. What would he do last prep? He ran last year. No, sorry, it was 12 months ago. He did win first up at Caulfield.
And it was enormous. I remember it. Thinking, fucking hell. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we
gamble responsibly and don't swear. But I thought he was like, this is the second coming of that Caulfield win, and I got all my chips in. Yeah,
he's got an incredible turn of foot, but yeah, it just does make life very hard for him. We probably do want the track to improve a bit for him to, run top 3. But I think he's in the race, and as I said, I can't be weighing him at double figure odds, seeing he got so close to the Great Nature's Strip in this race last year.
5 Marzu from Team Snowden Yard. Obviously, he's won the Doomben 10,000 this year, and he loves a heavy track, doesn't he? And coming off a nice second behind Lost and Running as well.
These Queenslanders, they can't help it. Just nudge it in there. Any Queensland references to form. It stood up in Melbourne, but this is a proper Group 1, and I think this is a different kettle of fish. He is the genuine sprinter though, with some upside and some scope in this race.
Platform. I personally can't see him stepping off that platform and winning this. I think he wanted a shade easier. I think he's drawn a bit awkwardly too, with speed inside him. But I wouldn't look on figures. It's there. I mean, he does have a base to go to a new level. If he does, he can win it. I suppose at $18, I'm neutral on him. $17. No need for heroics chasing him. I've just never had the impression that he was a good enough horse to beat the likes of Nature's Strip. But it's, as I say, he's got that platform to get to step to another level.
6 Private Eye, obviously coming off that great win down the straight at Flemington. He's $15 here. What are we thinking?
If the track does look like it's pretty soft, I'm going to take this horse on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wait and see. How he's near the same price as Mars Crusader is an insult to Mars Crusader. He beat like C graders, not even B graders at Melbourne last start down the straight. He's a horse who has a PB over a mile. There's a lot of question marks here. Like, if I was advising anyone to bet, I'd be very, very careful with this horse. And also, don't overthink it, because he was $9 into $4 and absolutely pissed in Melbourne. So they knew, and they'll probably know here again. It'll probably be 15s out to 30s or 15s into 10s.
Yeah. And even if he's 15s into 10s, if the track's still on the soft range, he won't win. He really wants it to improve, I think. Ready
Bet and Baggy might just be chasing each other on. Just make sure you download the app, gamble responsibly. Download both apps and gamble responsibly, but you might get the best price anywhere, Private Eye.
With the likely speed up front, if this was a good, if this was a 4 or a 5, I'd say it was a good place chance. But if it's still in the 7 range, I would say no.
And what Mark's saying is a good track. So that's a rating. Anyone knew that's a rating for a track. Obviously, Randwick's not ever a good track. That's a rating for a track.
As good as Randwick gets, then put it that way.
Yeah, firm. Sun's been out for a week. They haven't watered. The hoses are off, which they weren't at Caulfield today. Interestingly, they turned the hoses on yesterday. We'll get to that later on.
Number 7, Overpass. Ran a good second behind Nature's Strip, and then sort of struggled a bit on the heavy. He obviously wants it that little bit drier. I don't think I'd be looking at him on a heavy track.
I'm with you, Gab. The last race this horse won, English restricted race at Flemington, please.
The wet track probably gets rid of him, and if that didn't, the pressure will.
It's a good race to talk about, because you can talk seriously about the contenders and then just use your hanging shit lines on the rest of them. Ingratiating. Does the Sheik just not care about the Everest? Seriously, it's his 4th best sprinter, isn't it?
He mustn't.
It's got absolutely no chance. Got beaten by the stablemate in Melbourne last week. It's I don't know. I mean,
Sorry, Gav, I cut you off there, but
No, that's fine. You go for it. This is pretty simple. 9 joyful fortune.
honestly, Gav, what are they doing? This horse being in this race, PVL and his sketches would have kick sunk in those big Air Jordan-ish sketches of his when this horse was accepted, because this hurts it being a Group 1 race.
it's not over yet. It's as one after we make the same case about. Okay, we can't win this, but I did see it on TV at Flemington on that Sunday. Gee, it's a nice, big, powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. I think it might have been the race after Keith ran around, so I was there. It's a nice horse, but it's not like...
No, it's not going to win the Everest.
It was retired once too, this thing.
Yeah.
Like if it was airborne and on track for an Everest, it wouldn't have run at Flemington. Oh, wow.
All right. Shades of Rose. She's been placed very well recently. Is this just that little bit too hard for her?
Been up longer than the pyramids and has been racing in 1 week.
This will be like ex-intern Guesty if he went on a session with Big Rhoden at about the 200 to be in the fetal position crying for mum. He will have, this won't be pretty. No. Way out of its grade. And racing pattern exposes it to the best horses in the race.
She is. I think she's the only mare in this race, as long as Forbidden Lump doesn't get a run. So good on her. Good on the Baker camp. But we can move on to Jacquinot now. Someone's taking this on. Mark, you're taking Jacquinot on.
Yeah, may live to regret this if I'm right about the track pattern. And look, there will be enough speed for him, but he's got to get. Look, he was good in a good Golden Rose, but not an elite Golden Rose. He was very good in that. You found him, Jack. Well done. He probably wants the track to keep improving, doesn't he? And I don't know about barrier 2 and coming through traffic. I said, look, if the field breaks up, that might be okay. Might get a good enough runs through. But basically, you forced me before the show to take on at least 3 horses. So I thought lost and running was enough. So I had to come up with 2 more. So I said, okay, we'll do the 3-year-olds. And look, he gets a long way back. It seems a bit stupid to be looking after Masked Crusader and chasing Jacquinot, who's going to be back with him, but he does have to go to a new level again to win this. I will say that.
I think that this horse being in this race makes it a good race.
Yeah, that certainly adds interest.
So full credit to Price Kent Jr. and PVL. Unfortunately, I think on a soft to heavy track, it's really dampens this horse's talent. He's bomb-proof, consistent, and when we did find him in the Golden Rose, it was like only on a good track bet.
Yeah, you did say that.
I don't know what to do with him. He's very much the same as the Golden Rose, where you wait, and if the track is firm, I'd be happy to pull the trigger because he's the only proper fresh blood who's proven. The Golden Rose, it doesn't, to me, matter so much what they even run time-wise. It's just a good form race. We've already seen a Group 1 winner come out, and they ran shit time.
Yep.
Sorry, gamble responsibly. Poor time. But it won a Group 1. It happens all year. Animo come out of this race. Old Kirk, like good horses, just come out of that race.
Yep.
And yes, maybe, Mark?
Yep, it did.
Like, it's just a good form race. It comes out of it. It was an enormous win of that race. So the overall figure might not have been good, but not many horses do what that horse did to win that race. He's a super talent, and if he gets the right track conditions, I think he's the way to bet. But he's definitely favourite to not get those track conditions.
Absolutely. And Giga Kick the 12 is the second of the 3-year-olds. Now, it wouldn't actually surprise me to see one of these 3-year-olds finishing off really well here. Untried on the heavy, obviously a concern, but a horse that is progressing really nicely.
Well, the last horse we're going to speak about, Mark's taking him on, and I will just warn you, Mark, he has easily got Australia's second best, but my favourite rider in Craig Williams aboard.
Yeah, well, I understand why he is your favourite, especially recently.
He came out today and sang like a song, like he'd written a poem about what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. Also gave me my next line that I'm going to say on these mailbag shows for the next 2 years. The 200-metre post is the winning pole. What a line.
What a
Oh,
philosophy.
how good is it?
Right.
Full credit, Craig, and he did exactly that.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Should be more of it. Look, I was worried about Jacquinot going to another level to win this. This one, I think this has got to go 2 levels then. If Jacquinot's got to go 1.
Could have to go 3.
Beating its own age down the straight, generally speaking, over 1,000, 1,100 metres. I'm not saying it won't get 1,200 against its own age, probably looking for it, but against, this is the second best, well, the best sprinter this century outside of Black Caviar that's racing here today at its 5th start or something. No, 50 to 1 chance of model.
Yeah, I couldn't dream of betting upon it. I'll be fascinated to see what the market does, but I don't think it can win. And that's us. That's the Everest. Gab.
Yeah.
Find us some value. How are you betting?
Best, yeah. So, Mark, do you want to go through your best, what you think is your best or your value, whatever you like?
I'll make it value because, I mean, Nature Strip is the complete obvious. I couldn't dream of having anything else top pick in the race other than him. But there's no point in me backing him because we're going to get an absolute kicking if at Ready Bet if he wins. So I'll just have to hope. And look, if they are making ground, Masked Crusader, who got so close to him last year and is double figure odds, I think that would be the way I go.
I think if you have to bet, have like each way Eduardo.
And for me, obviously, Masked Crusader each way. I think he's just progressing really well, as I said before, and third up, won Premier Stakes last year, and then he's third up into this after a great run last start. So the $15 is a place I like to be, and I think I'm on a little bit more future in the futures market. So crossing my fingers.
Self-interest governs us all. Guys, thanks for that. Beautiful show. Guys, hope you enjoyed it at home. readybet.com.au. Download the app, gamble responsibly. I'm sure they'll have a stack of promos on this race, probably the Caulfield Cup too. Baggybet.com, download the app. Always gamble responsibly. Isn't that right, Mark? Gamble responsibly is the number one message. Please always gamble responsibly, but also download the app. We'll have promos on both brands for you guys to use, and pretty hard to lose that, but responsibly, gamble responsibly. Have a great week. Bye for now.
Day.